Hold on a second. See if this live stream working now. Oh, come on. What the hell going on here? Is it working now? Hold on. Hold on a second. I'm very sorry. There are technical difficulties here. Alright, there we go. Finally. Okay, so now my live stream is working. My Raw review is on. I'm very sorry for it. There were some technical difficulties here, but I can now go to my Monday Night Raw review. I can now go to my podcast. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Jacob Cast 2024. Going to do my Monday Night Raw review, April 20th, 2026. The Raw after Mania, WrestleMania 42 Fallout. After that great night 2 and the great main event between Punk and Roman Reigns. My video is sponsored by PlayStation. It's sponsored by JD from New York. Solomon the Sound Off, Fight for Pro Wrestling, and other podcasters and YouTubers. Monday Night Raw was a decent show. Wasn't that good or anything spectacular. There was a lot of segments, a lot of storyline developments here. It Brock retiring. Back to Bloodline. Roman gets his first challenger. Now we got the NBA playoffs. I'm not gonna talk about that. It was really about the storyline development. We did get some NXT call-up. We got some storyline development. We got So Luca making her debut. Ethan Page made a debut. I'm not sure if it's Rosario. She came out there and cost So Luca the match with Liv. They already sent a massive for Backlash. Backlash is in 3 weeks. It's on May 9. Now the show opened up with Oba Femi. He came out. He was mega over tonight. He kicked off the show. He said, "Your ruler has arrived." And that was it. That was all he said. And we didn't see him again. So I'm not sure what we're doing with Oba. He's not going to be in the World Championship right now. He's not going to be in the mid-card. He could face Gunther. We just don't know. Now the first match was Rhea Ripley and Io Sky take down the Kabuki Warriors in a very good match that opened the show. Ethan Page made his debut. He confronted Javon Evans in a shocking debut. They had a match tonight that was also very good. The match ended in a DQ because of Rusev. Actually, it didn't end a DQ. I think Rusev got involved, made it screwed Javon. Ethan got the win. And then Rusev came and beat them both up. And then Penta came out. So clearly they're setting up a fatal 4-way for Backlash. In 1 week, the build to Backlash has already begun. We're looking at a fatal 4-way with Penta, Rusev, Javon Evans, and Ethan Page in a fatal 4-way for the IC title. It's probably going to be a Backlash. They're already set it up. Javon Evans wants a shot. Ethan Page again a shot. Rusev. We did get Cody Rhodes. I don't know why. He should be on SmackDown. He should have sold the punt. He did sell the black guy. He had to hit black guy brutal. I think this is worse than what Travis Scott did to him last year at the Chamber. But Cody Rhodes came out to confront CM Punk, and they're also planting seeds for another WrestleMania main event with Punk and Cody, whether for the title or not. It could be at SummerSlam or down the line. It might be a next year WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. I thought they had a very good promo tonight. Ethan Page defeat Javon Evans when assist after assist from Rusev. So Luca interrupted Liv Morgan's celebration. She came out. She made a debut tonight. She had a pretty good match with Liv Morgan. I hate to say, it's sad to say that this match was a lot better and a lot longer than her match with Stephanie Valkyrie, and that's a shame. Now Liv got the victory because Zara came out from NXT. She came out and cost So Luca the match, and Liv got the victory. And then we did see Stephanie come out and had a face-to-face with Liv, so I get the story's not done. They're probably going to get a rematch. We did see Paige and the Bellas, and we saw Royce Key in the crowd as fans. So I guess we'll see him on SmackDown. We'll see what happened there. As I said, Zara interferes, and so we're good matching and Liv Morgan. They showed a great vignette with Brock Lesnar's career, retro perspective. them, which I thought were great, thought were beautiful. The Street Profits return after all these months. It's been a long time since we see a Street Profit, but they came out, they backed up Seth Rollins against the Villain. Braun Breaker brutalized Seth Rollins, so those two continue their feud. I think the main event, or the last match of the night, with Dominic and Finn Balor. Only 4 matches on the show. Very 4 matches. A lot with segments and storyline developments that build in the backlash. Dominic Mysterio pummels Finn Balor after Balor beat JD McDonough in an okay match. Dominic and Balor still gonna be feuding. Io Sky and Rhea Ripley going to separate ways. We are going to SmackDown. Io will stay on Raw. They did tease a brief stare down with Liv and Rhea backstage. I think they're setting that match up for Crown Jewels down the line. It looked that way. And then the final segment on this show with Jacob Fatu. Roman Reigns came out with the Usos. He celebrates a championship win. Jacob Fatu steps up to Roman Reigns. Now I can show all the other things on the show. Show the podcasters. These goddamn ads, man.
Might be kind of cool, and this might be an exchange because it feels like a lot of people don't want to work the same way they used to. I think the only thing that could fuck it up is if we got attacked in some kind of war with another country that doesn't do.
Yeah, other than that video package for Brock Lesnar, no indication that Brock is going to be doing anything. Backlash, they don't have much time for this. Less than 3 weeks, and
And that is what wrestlers should be fighting for. Literally 95% of the time.
There, for the top of the vacant title, he won because there was an opportunity that he.
If one of your picks misses, and if you're looking for the largest payouts, go for the power play. No matter how you play,
someone with a little bit more cred on their name is going to say the same thing. There'll be
albums, Mr. Roll. So WWE.
Now let's go into the other podcasters for a minute.
Did me dirty. But anyway, that's not.
LA Knight confronts Gunter. So I guess Knight and Gunter might be feuding because what are they doing? They are no championship match, so I guess Gunter might work feud with LA Knight. I don't know what Open Family is doing. He's not going to be going after the IC title. They already setting that match up for a fatal 4-way. Open Family, I don't know what's he doing.
like
I don't really know. Oh my god. Thank you so much, dude. I don't know why. Wait, why am I thanking you? I got flagged, and so now I'm gonna post hopefully for Cody and CM Punk. Are you there? Because I am. I like both of these guys, and I love the way that they set this up too. When CM Punk said, "Oh, who knows? Maybe a championship opportunity will fall out of the sky," and then bam, when he had that in confrontation with Cody, and then he brought it back and he said, "Well, maybe a championship opportunity will fall from the sky," as he's staring directly at the championship belt.
kind of wish that CM Punk kind of smirked at the end. You know, when the camera was like, CM Punk's there, Cody's in the background. I wish CM Punk was like, yeah, I got him. Like, I did it. Like, I tricked him into it. Because that's the Punk that I like. I like the guy that's outmaneuvering people, like thinking 4 steps ahead. Am I excited for this match? Yes. But I would have been more excited for this match like 2 years ago during Cody's first reign. Absolutely. But it just feels like to me when it comes to the WWE, I think I've been conditioned to go, what's the story behind it first, rather than the grabs in the ring, which is, I don't know if it's problematic, or I don't know if other people feel the same way. I don't know if you feel the same way, where you try to find the story first before you get to the grabs.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I do. I like having something that sets things up because I get more excited that way. So, yes, I agree with you. Yeah. Alrighty, let me see. We got Ozzy in here. What's up, Ozzy? He says, "Hey, Denise, what's your top 5 Kurt Angle matches?" Ooh, off the top of my head, not an... As Sancho is the homeowner. B, it's not really where it should be.
Stop. This is a family show.
Oh,
you got banned on Facebook for 3 days.
Cause that's trouble. Yeah, trouble now.
Trouble.
See, I'm more trouble now than Liv Morgan. I got banned on Facebook, copyrighted on Instagram, copyrighted on TikTok. You know, just left and right. Bad girl over here.
You gotta get arrested now. That's the next step.
You know, that's actually my biggest fear, Sancho, is getting arrested. No, it's not necessarily getting arrested. My biggest fear is getting blamed for a crime I didn't do. If I did the crime, okay, good. But if I didn't do the crime, you know how sometimes innocent people get crime? That's my fear. Like,
He was scheduled.
and so what happened?
He got a video package about saying farewell to Godsmack. Stand alone.
Okay, so wait, where did they say he was going to be on the show today?
No, X. All over X.
Okay, and then he wasn't on the show because I was waiting for him the whole time. I thought we were going to get some answers. So now it makes me feel that maybe that's just really it. Because I remember yesterday when you brought it up, I thought to myself, oh, he's going to be on Raw? Oh, that doesn't really make sense to like what we saw here. But okay, fine. Maybe that's where we kind of get an explanation of some sort or whatever, right? But now that he wasn't actually on the show, I think that's just it.
He's definitely a recluse. Look, he doesn't like the spotlight. He goes back to his farm. But I think like for Oba to have Brock and not I don't know. It's like it was a very powerful statement. But I was wanting the next thing for Oba. Like what's his sights for? You know, because everyone thought it would be Roman Reigns. Because after the post show, he was like, I want the OTC, and then Roman's like, it's really cool that you won, but I did it with a title on the line. I beat Brock many times before. I'm like, okay, cool. They got some real solid things here. But I got to remember that the post show sometimes is just, let's just throw things out there and see what the people think, and then we'll revisit it later. But it was great for having Oba to open up to be the first thing you see. And this is where I feel like the WWE does a great job better than AEW, is that when you see a killer AEW pay-per-view, their follow-ups to that killer pay-per-view, it doesn't really connect well to the weekly show. It doesn't tether them together for.
And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, right? Didn't the Vision kind of form a year ago tonight? Because last year at WrestleMania Night 1, Heyman ditched Punk and Roman, joined Rollins, and then the next night he formed the group with Breakker and Reed, I think, right, last year? So it's been a year now, and things are much different. And that's when Seth Rollins shows up from behind with a chair, takes out Braun Breaker. He attacks, but he's immediately neutralized because it's like there's like three guys in there. So Logan Paul and Theory take care of Rollins. They start beating him down when the Street Profits music hit. The Street Profits return out of nowhere. They have been off TV for I don't know how long. I don't think either one of them were hurt. I think that they just haven't been used. So now they're back on Raw, and they come out here to try to help Seth Rollins. I think they run off Theory and what's his dick, and now I guess the Profits can feud with them for the tag team titles, and that leaves Braun Breaker in the ring with Rollins, and Breaker got caught on the back of his head, I guess, with a chair shot. He had blood all over his face, but he beats the hell out of Seth and then hits him with that spear, and that's probably going to be a match at Backlash. Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. So Breaker's back, and that whole segment was pretty interesting with the Profits coming back, Heyman kind of confirming in a way that the Brock Lesnar retirement probably is legit, and more Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins stuff. So that was that. Then this was kind of cool. Morgan is out.
Mom, what's that?
Nothing. Hold on.
He's not going anywhere. What's going on, guys? WrestleMania is in the books. It is the Raw After Mania. There have been a lot of very newsworthy Raw After Mania episodes over the years. This was a newsworthy one. It was not a great show, but what I liked about it was there was a lot going on. New faces popping up, people moving over from SmackDown to Raw, new feuds starting. So I like that aspect of it. It just felt like, okay, we got some new stuff going on that kind of freshens things up a little bit. Beyond that, though, not a great show, but I was mostly entertained by what we got tonight, which culminated with the new World Heavyweight Champion. We had Roman Reigns, who was nice enough to grace us with his presence in the closing moments of the show as his car pulled up to the building just in time before Monday Night Raw ended. They're very lucky he showed up when he did. He didn't get caught in a traffic jam, or we'd still be sitting here waiting for him to show up. But he came out, and he brought his cousins out with him. And this is what I was a little concerned about, which was, we're going to be right back to the bloodline. It's going to be same old, and we're going to have the bloodline as they did on Fridays now, running things on Mondays. And that may well be the case. The one good thing is, they put the World Heavyweight Championship back on Roman, and it does appear that Roman is going to be pretty much full-time through the summer, which might be a dead giveaway about how long he's going to have that World Heavyweight Championship. So we are going to have Roman on the show, if not every week, on most weeks. That was my biggest concern coming out of WrestleMania, or even going into WrestleMania. If you were going to put the World Championship on him, we need him on the show. And so hopefully that will be the case going forward. That'll be a good thing. But he came out at the end, and we had an unexpected appearance joining him and the Usos in the ring in the form of Jacob Fatu, somebody else who was successful at WrestleMania this weekend. He beat Drew McIntyre in their unsanctioned match. And he came down to the ring, and he confronted Roman. And honestly, this is a confrontation that I have been waiting a long time for. This is a match. When Jacob first came into WWE, that I was hoping we would get. We still haven't gotten it. So when I saw him come out, I said, okay, that piqued my interest. Let's see where this goes. So he came down to the ring. Yes. Apparently, there goes my idea, though, my theory of Randy Orton being the one who attacked Jacob Fatu. I guess we're never really going to get a resolution. Although I guess you just have to assume Drew McIntyre did do it. He was lying the entire time. We never really got a resolution to that. And now it appears that we are not going to get a resolution to that. But he confronted Roman in the ring and he said, I want all the things that you have. All the money, all the cars. I want to support my kids, the bigger house, everything, all of it. I want it. I want to be World Heavyweight Champion. And Roman gave him, and he said backlash. And Roman gave him 1 week. Because I don't know if you're ready for it. I'm not going to say yes, I'm not going to say no. I'll give you 7 days. We'll reconvene on Raw next Monday night, and we'll take it from there. And that's how they left things, with a tease that the main event of Backlash, which is only a couple of weeks away, I think, right? May 9th, I believe. So, what is it, 2.5 weeks, something like that? But the main event of Backlash is going to be Roman Reigns against Jacob Fatu. It's not official, but they wouldn't dangle that carrot the way they did tonight if they weren't going to be doing that match. That is a match that appeals to me. That's a match that intrigues me, as is the finish of such a match. Because if they're going to put these two in the ring together, and Jacob, let's say, is going to be on Raw now, and he's already wrestling for the World Heavyweight Championship, I don't see them moving the World Heavyweight Championship onto Jacob Fatu. So what does that mean? I mean, are we looking at a one-and-done scenario? Are we looking at Jacob then falling in line because Roman wanted him to do one thing at the end of the night? He wanted him to acknowledge him. I keep telling you guys, Roman Reigns, for all the people that cheer for this man, Roman Reigns has not changed one damn bit from the conceited, selfish asshole that we saw in the original incarnation of the Bloodline. And so even when he went to his cousins and Jay, didn't want to have anything to do with him, and he wanted to make amends, he never changed. He's still the same guy. You saw it even tonight when he had his cousins out there in the ring with him, and he says, look, it's basically like united we stand, divided we fall. When we're apart and we're separate, we're weak. And you've got all kinds of people talking shit about us, including washed-up rappers. But when we're together, like we were all those years ago,
Jay Uso doing his own thing. How's Jay?
Manipulation. He's still manipulating his cousins. This man hasn't changed.
The bloodline is no
And
more.
so we may well be
The
looking at a
bloodline
case
is no
where he's
more.
going to
The
try to
story
recruit
is no
Jacob
more.
in. We
The
got a
story
new
is
bloodline
finished
going
after
on.
4
I don't want
years.
to see that.
Being champion,
Jacob
leading
Fatu should not be
SmackDown,
falling in
carrying
line with
SmackDown,
anybody.
the
If
champion.
anything, Jacob
The
Fatu should be
bloodline
the
is no
one
more.
bringing the Usos over with
Everyone's
him when all is said and
doing their
done
own thing.
and having his own
Absolutely.
little crew. But to be honest with you,
I have bloodline fatigue at this point. We had the bloodline, we had the MFTs, which is like Timu bloodline. This would be what, the third incarnation of the group? Like NWO, NWO Wolfpack, NWO. How many versions of the NWO did we even have? We had what, three or four, five? NWO 2000? I don't know how many fucking versions. I don't need to see that with the bloodline, but I am intrigued about the Roman and Jacob story.
So I like that. Now, the man who lost the World Heavyweight Championship, CM Punk, he made an appearance on the show tonight, and he was looking rather chipper for someone who lost the world title because it was almost like a weight had been lifted off of his shoulders. And he made it very clear he's not taking a vacation. You know, he's not going anywhere. And he said, you never know when a world championship opportunity might fall out of the sky. That brought out Cody Rhodes, who was not looking too good. His eye was not looking too good. And they heavily teased a Cody Rhodes CM Punk match. I didn't get the impression it was anything that was imminent. It may not even happen this year. I look at that as a potential WrestleMania main event in Saudi next year. So just because they were openly teasing it tonight does not necessarily mean it's going to be, let's say, a SummerSlam match. I would like for it to be, but to be honest, like that's a WrestleMania caliber match. If they wanted to give it to us this year, I certainly have no issue with that, but they were heavily leaning into it so much so that we are going to get it at some point. The only question is not if, the only question is when. We had also on this show the return of the Street Profits, who we have not seen on television in many, many months. And so they were back, right? We saw them on SmackDown last time we saw them. They are now going to be mixing it up with the Vision for the tag team titles on the Raw side, so it was good to get them back on TV. You got to try to breathe some life into this dead tag team division. So you got to start somewhere. So it was good to see them. They teased other matches here on this show, a rematch. I'm sure this will be the Backlash match with Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vaquer, Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. They went at it tonight. And then there's also Gunther and LA Knight. And oh, man. Poor LA Knight. You know, Gunther was in the back, and he was being interviewed late in the show, and LA Knight interrupted. And as soon as I saw LA Knight in the shot, I said, what are you doing, man? Like, what are you doing? There's no way on any planet that this ends well for LA Knight. Like, we haven't even seen the match yet. I mean, we have seen the match in the past, but like this particular match that they're clearly going to have very soon, we have not even seen the match yet. I already know how it's going to go. LA Knight, he's the only person who hasn't been clued in about how this is going to end. So, LA Knight's setting himself up for another loss, and yeah, we got to get that in. But yeah, it's not going to end well for him. So that seems to be a direction here. The bigger story, though, outside of the Roman and Jacob stuff, were the NXT call-ups and some of the new faces that we either saw on the show tonight or have already been teased for Raw next week. So on the show tonight, we had Ethan Page and Sol Ruca. This was their official Raw call-up. They are officially now on Monday nights, and they teased that next week, Joe Hendry, who Michael Cole flat out said he's on Monday Night Raw now. He's a member of the Raw roster. He's going to be in concert. So I guess we'll see who interrupts him. Maybe that'll give us a sense of who he's going to be working with. So that's going to be on Raw next week. And I like this. I mean, look, typically the Raw after Mania in the past, or SmackDown after Mania, has been the time where you do introduce some new faces, or somebody makes a big return. And so there were no big returns tonight, but they made some moves, roster moves, which I think are needed. You want to freshen the roster up a little bit. I don't get the sense they're doing a draft. I don't want them to do a draft. We don't need no stinking draft. I've talked about this before. If you want to make roster moves, there are other ways to do it without a draft. The draft shows suck. They're boring. They suck. Don't do them anymore. I'm perfectly fine if they just want to say, you know what? We're just going to move the chess pieces around, and they're just going to show up, and we're going to debut some new people on the show. Fine. Always good to freshen things up. But if you're going to be making moves like this, you got some work to do where it comes to SmackDown. Because as things stand right now at this moment, SmackDown needs a lot of help. and I mean, SmackDown already needed a lot of help, and now it needs more help. I have to assume, right? It's early yet. We haven't even gotten to Friday yet. That by the time we get to SmackDown on Friday, those moves will become clear. But you watch Raw tonight, and you could kind of tell like what some of the moves are going to be. So, for example, we already know Rhea Ripley is on her way to SmackDown. She looked crestfallen in the back tonight when she was parting ways with Io Sky. She's the new WWE Women's Champion, right? That title belongs on SmackDown. So she is now going to go to SmackDown and defend that title. CM Punk, who made no mention of SmackDown, but what he did do is he went face-to-face with Cody Rhodes tonight. And they were teasing that match for a reason. Now, even if that match is not going to happen imminently, he would have to be a member of the SmackDown roster. Unless you waited until next year and you won the Royal Rumble. CM Punk, it feels to me, he's been on Raw ever since he came back to the company in 2023, right? Is it good to be alive on a Monday night? We've been hearing this every week now for 3 years. If anybody, I think, could really benefit the other show, it would be CM Punk. CM Punk is a big star. SmackDown could use some star power. CM Punk is there every single week. He's actively wrestling on the show on most weeks. SmackDown could use CM Punk. I don't know what else you do with him if he sticks around on Raw. Him and Roman, that's done. Him and the Vision? Are you fucking kidding me? What else is he going to do? It makes sense for him to move over to SmackDown, and especially if you're moving Jacob Fatu over from SmackDown to Raw. You know, it's almost like a clean swap there. So I think Punk moving to SmackDown is very likely. Rhea Ripley, we already know she's on SmackDown. By the way, if they do move Punk to SmackDown, I'm sure one person who will not be happy about that, Drew McIntyre. They would be reunited once again on the same brand. So Punk, very possible. Rhea Ripley, confirmed. We already know she's moving over. They just debuted Royce Keys on SmackDown. He just won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal last week. I mean, Raw has Oba Femi. They're really pushing him hard. SmackDown has Royce Keys. In addition to that, let's look to NXT. Because we had Ethan Page and Sol Ruka, right? And now Joe Hendry. Who could SmackDown get from NXT? Especially if they move Punk over. I know they're like this. First name that comes to mind is Ricky Saints. So Ricky Saints going to SmackDown, to me, would make a lot of sense. How about Blake Monroe? I don't even know why, frankly, she's still down there in NXT. Blake Monroe would really help that SmackDown women's division. And she's a great character. She's got this, great personality, I think, that would fit perfectly over there on the main roster. And SmackDown would be a good fit for her. So, Ricky Saints, Blake Monroe, Chasey Jane, who just lost the NXT Women's Championship. They may call up the entirety of Fatal Influence, all three women. Get Fallon Henley up there too. So there are moves to make where, when I'm on here on Friday night talking about SmackDown, I'm not talking about how weak SmackDown is. We're talking about, okay, they made some great moves here. These are the moves that I'm hoping that by the time we get to the end of the week that we're looking at. The other thing on the show tonight, they were talking about it in a way on Sunday where, we're not sure. But it looks like Brock Lesnar has retired. Tonight they were more they were declarative about it, where they said Brock Lesnar has retired. And they gave us a tribute video package showing highlights of his career from over the years. It was very well done. It was a Godsmack song that they used. I'm still not 100% convinced that he is retired. I hope he is. I really do. He had, in many ways, the best send-off you could ask for. Putting over Oba Femi the way he did at WrestleMania, it really doesn't get any better than that. So, to me, I hope that that's the end. And that's sort of the bow on the gift. But I'm just still not convinced. I still think there could be something there with this favor that Paul Heyman owes to Gunther. And there's a way to kind of coax him out of quote-unquote retirement. I get a lot of people like, he was crying last night. So, of course it's real. Brock was crying. I'm not so sure that Brock was crying, actually. Paul Heyman was crying. You can see the tears streaming down his face. I'm looking at Brock Lesnar last night, and to me, and again, whether this was genuine or not, him retiring, it looked like he was trying to cry. I don't know that he wasn't like he was a blubbering mess the way some people say. Don't look too much into that. That doesn't mean anything. But yes, for the time being at least, it does look like Brock Lesnar has wrestled his final match, but we all know how that goes. Anyway, this is your Raw on Netflix review, the Raw After Mania. Let's get into it. It is Monday night, April 20th. 420. 420. 2026. I am the Solid Monster. Thank you for hanging out with me. We are continuing here. We've been doing shows, a lot of them. They don't stop. There is no off season in wrestling. You just sort of push the reset button and you start all over again. That's why we're here. Super chats are open. If you would like to send them on in, I will read all of your messages. You will see them popping up on your screen. 2017 with her crazy suicide dive out to the floor. Keyword there being suicide. Because this is the second time now in the last few weeks that Io Sky has brained herself on the floor outside. I think this actually looked...
Your biggest fear came true. Your beloved...
Which is great. It's looking like they're setting up Rusev to win the IC title against Mitch. Which, you know what? I'm okay with that. Let Rusev have a strong run. Then we do... You put him in the ring with... Important! These Saturday... We usually get a couple of banger matches, a couple of showcase matches, getting people familiarized with their new home, and new directions for storylines. Where WrestleMania usually should be one chapter closing, and then Monday Night Raw after Mania is a new chapter beginning. I want to start off tonight by saying that I had very low expectations coming into tonight's Raw After Mania. The last couple of years have been slightly subpar. I didn't really care too much for last year's outside of, I think, Io Sky wrestled Stephanie Becker, and then we got the Braun Breaker turn on Seth Rollins. Actually, no, not the turn. Braun Breaker joining Seth Rollins, and the Vision in the beginning stages of forming as a faction. Those are the only two things I really remember coming out of last year's Raw After Mania. Outside that, I don't really much or care for much or remember much. People were jumping on my back saying, oh, well, last year's was a great show, JK. Oh, well, I didn't really remember much outside of those two instances. So pardon me. It's been a very long year. I thought tonight's show was better than last year. I thought tonight's show was a little bit more focused. I thought tonight's show focused a little bit more on where we are going with the youth in the WWE. The WWE clearly backing some new faces, some youthful faces. I thought we had a very good tag team match with the ladies tonight. We had Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus the Kabuki Warriors, and that obviously is going to continue Io Sky and Asuka, which is now rumored for Backlash. We had a very good Finn Balor and JD McDonough match. We had a very good Liv Morgan and Sol Ruka match. And we got Ethan Page going one-on-one with Siobhan Evans. And then we got the big angle that played out at the end of the show. Now, the surprise of Braun Breaker joining Seth Rollins last year, that was pretty fucking great. This year, it was Roman Reigns. He is the new World Heavyweight Champion, and he obviously was going to be the last figure you see on your televisions tonight on Monday night. There was a rumor going around today, a news story going around that
plans for Roman Reigns heading into the spring and summer months, which I have to tell you, I was a little skeptical of before he won the World Heavyweight Championship against CM Punk at WrestleMania. The rumor is that plans are in place for Roman versus Gunther and Roman versus Obafemi. That's the long-term play so far for Roman Reigns as the World Heavyweight Champion. We clearly have to build up to those. But those are two mega matches for WWE on tap. Two matches that I can't wait to see play out. WWE sent Roman Reigns out there, his OG Tribal Chief theme and all, and he's backed once again by the Usos. Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, asked to go out there by Roman Reigns, and they follow him just like they did for 4 straight years. Roman's in the ring tonight, and he wants what he had. He wants his family back. He said separated, they were no good. But together, they are a force. It took no time at all for Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso to fall in line. They couldn't wait to back Roman Reigns. Which, by the way, I have to throw this out there. Roman has yet to apologize to both Jimmy and Jey Uso. Now, I don't know if that's going to be a piece to this story that eventually comes to light again, but Roman never apologized. Roman asked his cousins to back him, and I have to wonder if that's going to be an aspect that they once again play out in the story. Because Roman is going right back to doing what he did for 4 straight years, using his cousins. One has to wonder that they're a little smarter now in 2026 to Roman's manipulation. We'll see. Roman wanted to talk about the future. Roman wanted to talk about the World Heavyweight Championship. So mostly he wants to talk about family.
We carry SmackDown, now we carry...
Roman said on the WrestleMania Night 2 post-show, Joe Tessitore, Corey Graves, and Big E, that he is back full...
Welcome to James. It's Luke Bryan. What can I get you? Today I'm raising funds with Raising Cane's and my buddy Todd Gray.
...time narrative to rest. That we're going to be seeing him a lot this spring and summer. A lot this year, hopefully, if he's the World Heavyweight Champion, because I don't know if the fan base can go through another part-time World Heavyweight Champion. All that does is cripple a brand, and we don't need that to happen again. It would really start to feel the same if Roman went away for half the fucking reign and left all of the story to be told with Jimmy and Jey Uso. We don't need that at all. Jacob Fatu came out. I thought, being that we only saw Gunther legitimately for about 90 seconds, and that it was right before the main event segment, I thought Gunther was going to come out and stake claim to the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm glad WWE didn't rush into that. Instead, Jacob Fatu walked out and confronted Roman Reigns all by himself. Jacob Fatu, by the way, is a SmackDown superstar. Jacob Fatu's been feuding with Drew McIntyre on Friday night. Beat Drew McIntyre in a unsanctioned match during night 1 of WrestleMania. He's out there all by himself. He basically says, I'm not out here to acknowledge you. I want the World Heavyweight Championship. Roman knew why he was out there. It was either one of 2 things. Either A, you're going to acknowledge me because the family's back, or B, you want what's over my shoulder. Jacob Fatu says, I don't want what's over your shoulder. I need what's over your shoulder. explain why. The most important question in anything, as far as telling a story, why? Why are you here? Why do you want a certain something? In this case, the World Heavyweight Championship. I have kids to feed. I want the Rolexes. I want the extra cars. I want a bigger house. I want my family to be taken care of like your family is taken care of. He wants a new life, a better life for his family, which is great. It's a great story because it's a believable story because Jacob Fatu certainly wants all those things. Coming from his past and how dark his past was. He's now in WWE and he's found a new lease on life. And this is a believable story. That's a great why to why you want the World Heavyweight Championship, because with the World Heavyweight Championship not only comes responsibility, but comes a lot of money. Fame, fortune, the top of the card.
You take your pay.
I love that answer that Jacob Fatu gave to Roman Reigns.
This is your biggest match of your career, going after the World Championship.
He says, at Backlash, I'm coming for everything that you have. Roman Reigns didn't immediately give him an answer. Roman Reigns doesn't want to fight Jacob Fatu because Jacob Fatu is family. But if he has to fight him, he will. And when Roman Reigns wins, Roman ended the promo saying, "You will acknowledge me." Now, I don't know what that part means. That part's the scariest part of all. That part signifies to me that WWE Creative is basically running the Bloodline storyline all over again, but without Solo Sikoa, and instead with Jacob Fatu. My main question is, how does WWE make this Bloodline storyline now that Roman is the World Heavyweight Champion on Monday night and not the WWE Champion on Friday night? How do we make this Bloodline chapter a lot different than the last Bloodline chapter that we saw with all these familiar characters? I know it's a little scary as a fan to see the same thing play out over and over and over again with the same cast of characters over and over and over again. But I think everybody knows how important Roman Reigns is to the overall health of this show. Roman Reigns, in some circles, some people moaned and groaned when he won the World Heavyweight Championship from CM Punk on Sunday night. I said verbatim, and I said this for weeks, I want CM Punk to win. I'm a CM Punk guy. I don't want to see another part-time champion. I don't want to go back to that day where he was there some weeks and off most weeks. But then I start to think, CM Punk's really done everything with the World Heavyweight Championship on Monday night. There's no real fresh opponents for him on Monday night unless they shuffle the rosters between Raw and SmackDown. And we know there's not going to be a draft. And when WWE wants to do a light shakeup or open a transfer window, there really isn't much that they do anyway as far as change. They don't really shuffle major players around because at the end of the day, it's all a political move. Netflix wants who they want, and USA Network wants who they want. I said if Roman Reigns can add dates to his schedule, which the rumor was Roman Reigns has a contract coming up, and I'm sure they got him.
Spectre aside, you hold the power. I work with my team all day in English. Then I talk trash to my brother in Spanish.
Unapologetically, it's a great story because it's a believable story because Jacob Fatu, CM Punk's really done everything with the World Heavyweight Championship on Monday night. There's no real fresh opponents for him on Monday night unless they shuffle the rosters between Raw and SmackDown. And we know there's not going to be a draft. And when WWE wants to do a light shakeup or open a transfer window, there really isn't much that they do anyway as far as change. They don't really shuffle major players around because at the end of the day, it's all a political move. Netflix money, more dates. We'll give you more money. We want to give you more money. We got all the money in the world to give you. We're just going to need a little bit more commitment from you. That's exactly what happened. And I said, if Punk is going to win this, what's next? If Punk doesn't win and they do give the title back to Roman, Roman's going to need to add some extra dates to that contract. And that's exactly what they did. So you may be looking at it in a way where you're a Punk fan and you don't want to see Roman Reigns as the champion. I'm looking at it as Roman Reigns is the World Heavyweight Champion, and he's going to be a champion that's going to be present on the show. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all, and neither should you. Roman Reigns is the most important figure in the entire company. Whether you like it or not, and you can clip me, and maybe I'll earn some brownie points with the fucking Roman stands out there. When Roman Reigns is there every week, and Roman Reigns is the top guy with the top championship on the top brand, everything just
This will
feels
be the
important.
last time I'm going to be champion
Everything
in the
feels
company.
like you gotta watch it.
That's what I'm going to work on.
Everything
Now, I'm
feels
only going to show
bigger.
up on Mondays, and I'm not
And
going
here's
to
the
show
most
up on
important
Friday
part.
because I'm not there on Friday.
And this is what I don't think people really realize.
Monday
And
Night
don't give
Raw,
Roman enough
Monday
credit
Raw
for.
had almost years ago.
When the family is on television in a story, because let's be honest, they're the most intriguing characters on the show.
On Monday. I'm only
I
going
wish
to work on Monday.
WWE
I'm
would
not
put a
going to
lot
work
more effort into
on
the other
Friday. I'm
characters
going
on
to
the
be here
show
on the
to make
weekends.
everybody feel a little bit more
Yeah.
equal. But the NY family is the most important family in the entire company, in the entire business. They are the most important figures on the show. They are the characters on the show that are fleshed out more than anybody. You, me, and everybody else know them upside down, inside out, left and right. They've been given time to develop. You know who they are. You know their backstories. You know what's next and what's not next and what they should do and what they shouldn't do.
I'm 18 years old. I gave
When
up
Roman
that corner
Reigns is
life.
on television,
Oh,
the
it's so
stories
unreal. 18 years old.
actually
Playing
matter.
for football. Well, I do
And now
have
you're
good
including
history.
somebody in Jacob Fatu,
For
who's one of the best athletes and professional wrestlers in the fucking world,
I made a bad decision.
and you're putting him in the ring with Roman Reigns. Sure, it gives off that family bloodline dynamic and that similar feeling that we've seen for 4 straight years. 1,316 days to be exact.
I want to be a fighter.
But when Roman Reigns is on TV doing business with his family, it is very difficult to find another story in any company, period, that is more important than what Roman Reigns is doing with his family. If by hook or crook, WWE can give us an interesting story here with Jacob Fatu and let it play out over several months, why would we complain? Roman Reigns is the world's heavyweight champion and giving us story. That's the most important thing, and that's the only thing that should matter. You put Jacob Fatu in the ring with Roman Reigns, I don't know why anybody's going to complain about anything. Roman's one of the best big match wrestlers in the entire world. You put him in the ring with Jacob Fatu, you got the makings of a match of the year candidate on any fucking planet, in any promotion, on any show in the world. Just like he did with CM Punk. Old man CM Punk, mind you, at 48 years old, who delivered the best match of the fucking year last night. Tell me when I'm telling any sort of lies at this point in time. Spoiler. You can't. You can't. I don't know how they make it different. I don't. But I love that they got the match out there. I love that they teased the match for Backlash. I love that they used Jacob's dark history as a reason why he needs the World's Heavyweight Championship. Because when you play off somebody's real life history, there's nothing greater as far as an emotional investment from fan to show, fan to performer, to build a match.
Now,
for all we know, the Usos turn on Roman Reigns.
You won your first single champion match.
For all we know, the Usos don't back Roman Reigns.
You lost it to Solo.
And they end up backing Jacob
You
Fatu.
couldn't be Solo twice. Make me
For all we know, Jacob Fatu knows he's in a 3-on-1 situation.
I'm gonna give you
Who's
the
to
match
say
of your
that
life.
Jacob Fatu doesn't get some
I
backup
hope
of his
this match
own?
goes 25 minutes. Our match is gonna go long.
Now, I know I'm not really interested in anything going on with the MFT,
I hope you're physical, you go hard
but there have
Our
been
match could
teases
go
of
25 minutes.
Tamatonga
It deserves to go
leaving the
120
group.
minutes.
Does he join Jacob Fatu?
It's just like
Does WWE
I
have the
hope our
balls?
match. It's just like
Do they
the
go
match I
out
had
there
with Jay.
and
It'll go
actually
23
sign
minutes.
Silla Fatu? I don't give a shit how long he's been on the indies. 3 years, 3.5 years? Fucking guy's ready for the main stage. And if he's not ready for the main stage, it's going to be about 12 more months before he is. That's somebody that, in my opinion, you cannot beat.
You come from a man who tried to kill our mama, and a mama who wants to kill that man. Your daddy, David.
That rain on House of Glory television for 590 days. I'd say that Silla Fatu is more than fucking ready for the main stage. Who's to say WWE doesn't include other members of the family? It's the only way you're going to make it different. I don't think this is something that needs to linger too long. This is something that can certainly carry us through the spring and summer months. Everybody's got this hope and this dream that we get Gunther and Roman Reigns and Gunther and Oba Femi. You can't build these matches up for such a small window. There's got to be layers. There's got to be a plan. There's got to be just intended. What does that match do, and how do we get what happens there to the next phase of our plan? The next phase of our plan. You know, a lot of these head bookers, they usually go out there and they give you a glimpse of how they think. I just saw The Undertaker with the last AAA show. He was interviewed about his creative process because everybody is loving what The Undertaker, Mark Calloway, is doing on AAA. He gave you the Paul Heyman answer. Paul Heyman mentioned something about how he does things creatively. I never forgot when Paul Heyman spoke about it. The way we should be doing creative is we put on the bullet board, or the bulletin board. Where do we want to be at the end of all this? Staring you right in the face. What is the end goal? Lay it out. What is it? And you book backwards. This is where we want to be. How the fuck do we get there? Do you know what that is in this moment? Do you know what that is? And with who? In this moment? Oba Femi. That's the match. Whether it's at SummerSlam or whether it's at WrestleMania next year, that's the match. That's the end goal. So if you're going to give me something with the family, you're going to give me something with Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu, then you're going to let it play out and let it marinate and let it tell a great story before we move on to the next phase, which would be Gunther. Because I don't think Roman Reigns is holding the World Heavyweight Championship for a fucking 3, 4, 5, 6 month reign. Roman Reigns is holding the championship for a very long time. If that man is on television and that man's been requested by Netflix to be the guy on their A show, he ain't losing that championship.
Well, yeah, I'll make the shows. Next year I'll make the house show, because I don't want
So if Roman and Fatu eat up a good chunk of months on television, then we transition to Gunther. The end goal is Oba Femi. Oba wins the Rumble, Oba goes to Saudi, Oba beats Roman, Oba's the new World Heavyweight Champion. I don't know what else there is. Or, someone in the chat, Oba wins King of the Ring, and we do it at SummerSlam. I don't think that's going to be the direction for SummerSlam. I am leaning towards Rollins and Reigns at SummerSlam. Punk made a couple of mentions, and I don't want to get into it now. We'll talk about it when we go over the promo. CM Punk laid some Easter eggs. He laid some clues down for us about where he may be going. He knows he's got an uphill battle now. What he does in the meantime, between now and SummerSlam, I don't know. I don't know. But WWE sent Cody Rhodes out there with black eye and all. And Cody and CM Punk had yet another promo. CM Punk and Cody Rhodes is on tap. When, where, I don't know. The only place to do that is at WrestleMania. In fact, if WrestleMania is in Saudi, I don't even think they should be getting that. I think we do it at SummerSlam. Cody Rhodes and CM Punk is one of the biggest matches still left for WWE on tap. It may be the biggest. Some people may disagree. Some people may think Roman Reigns and Obafemi is the biggest match. Or Roman Reigns and Gunther is the biggest match. Some of you may be thinking that Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu is the biggest match. Funny enough, Roman Reigns is all in those discussions. Gee, I wonder why he's the World Heavyweight Champion. CM Punk and Cody Rhodes is my personal biggest match still left to do. It was going to be the main event of night 2 this year. But injuries happened. He did leave some tidbits about where he could potentially go. And if Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns are still the World Heavyweight Champion, WWE Champion, it's going to be an interesting story to see play out when CM Punk is carrying a certain briefcase with him, teasing a cash-in on Roman, or teasing a cash-in on Cody, because you never know when that opportunity for a world championship is going to fall from the sky. We're going to talk about the rest of this Monday Night Raw, where we saw the debuts of Ethan Page, we saw the debut of Sol Ruka, and we got confirmation that Joe Hendry is also Raw-bound from NXT. My only question is, what exactly are we doing to bolster Friday Night SmackDown? Because by the looks of it, we got a lot of things going on Monday night, and I don't see a fucking thing or hear a fucking peep about what's happening on Friday night. We better get some fucking top-tier talent on Friday night, because out of all the weekly television shows, that show needs the most help. We're going to talk about it. This is your Monday Night Raw post-show Raw After Mania right here on Off the Script. It is your Monday, April 20th, 2026. Again, I want to thank you guys for all of the support, man. You guys killed it this weekend. 100,000 views on night 1, roughly about 80,000 views on night 2. And that's not even in the 24-hour period yet. We still got another whole 24 hours to go before YouTube starts to suppress the videos. So, thank you guys. I mean, you fucking killed it last night, man. I could have been up for another hour just reading Super Chats. You guys were just over the top with the support, man. Unbelievable. I'm a big Fellow guy. You guys know your coffee brands and your coffee equipment. I love Fellow. They're based out of San Francisco. They are actually in partnership with Big Face Coffee, and I got a bag through their subscription service. And it's really good stuff, so go check that out. A little free plug, cheap plug there for you coffee enthusiasts, whoever you are listening to. Let's start things off here with the top. Monday night starts off with a backstage promo airing with Asuka and Kairi Sane. They say the usual shit about Io Sky choosing her fake family over her real one. Asuka asks what it got her since Rhea Ripley is the new women's champion and Io has nothing. We start things off though with Obafemi. Obafemi made his way out to the ring. We talked about Obafemi a lot last night. We talked about a lot about what happened with Brock Lesnar. I posted some clips on Instagram and I posted some clips on TikTok today in regards to Obafemi and Brock Lesnar and what Brock Lesnar's retirement meant at the end of his match with Oba to open WrestleMania 42 Night 2 on ESPN. Before I get into all that, because I want to reiterate what I said yesterday, the fact that WWE opened the show with Obafemi says all that you really need to know about what WWE thinks of Obafemi. The rocket is strapped. WWE is going to send him off into outer space. How far? That is up to them. When? That is up to them. But the rocket is already strapped. It has been since he showed up on the main roster. Now WWE is just primed and ready to push the button whenever they want. He came on out tonight. He looked the part. He looked very Cody Rhodes-esque. Very dapper did Obafemi look. He comes on out. He does his strut. Vegas is strutting along with him. Las Vegas is barking along with Oba's theme. They give him a monumental Ob. He lifts the microphone up to his mouth and said, "The ruler has arrived."
I think this will be lifetime. I think the man's lifetime.
This is basically Roman's, this is my yard now. After he beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. The only difference is Roman was booed out of the building and Oba was heralded as the next coming of the WWE face of the company.
Well, the only difference is only booed out of the building.
Man, I still remember that Roman Reigns Monday Night Raw where he beat The Undertaker and everybody. Bro, you go back and watch that, man. It is like fucking laugh out loud funny. They were chanting legitimately everything that they had at him. They chanted, "Shut the fuck up." They chanted, "Go away, go away." Every time he lifted the microphone to his mouth, the boos got louder. What a fucking moment that was, man. That's one of my favorite Monday Night Raw moments of all time. He said nothing. This is my yard now. That's what this reminded me of. The ruler has arrived. And then the lights go out. He drops the microphone. The lights go out. Spotlight's in the center of the ring. He does his thing. You see nothing but his shadowy silhouette. You see the microphone laying right there in the white spotlight center of the ring. What a fucking visual that was. What a great fucking visual. That's all he needed to say. And I saw people. I saw people online. I saw people in my mentions because I mentioned all this on social media as soon as the promo was ended. Oh, this sucked. Oh, this was as uncreative as they come. I expected a lot more. Such a low effort promo. There's no creativity and all these other excuses. This is why I do what I do. And this is why you operate from a faceless, nameless, bunch of numbers account on X. What more needs to be said? What does Obafemi need to do? What does Obafemi need to say?
There was nothing good.
Do you know what he said?
There was nothing good.
The ruler has arrived.
The only thing that mattered was the main event.
Why do you expect him to say anything more than that? Actions speak louder than anything that Obafemi could say.
The entire show
He cut the promo that you wanted him to cut tonight the week before. The promo the week before led into him beating Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania on Sunday night. What else did he need to say? His actions spoke louder than anything he could possibly surprised at all if there was a thought in the creative team's mind about that Roman Reigns promo when he beat The Undertaker. And he said, "This is my yard now." I wouldn't be shocked if it was seeds planted because they know they're going to go Roman and Oba at some point this year within the next 12 months. For all we know, WWE is planting the seeds based on the way that they had Oba Femi cut this promo tonight. No, but it's uncreative. Oh, but it's not what I expected, so I gotta shit all over it. Trust me, I know what that is. And because I didn't get what I want, I've come on here many a time complaining that I didn't get what I wanted because it didn't go the way that I thought it would go. This is not something to complain about.
My contract
Not one of those
right here,
instances.
right now, and the guys who big ended, made the five return, Ray's all gonna come out. But this is the end of my tally.
What was the first thing you saw on this show on the Raw after a two-night WrestleMania? This is the biggest Raw of the year. If you are a fan of Oba Femi, sit with that. That spot could have went to anybody. It could have went to Punk. It could have went to Cody. It could have went to Roman. They gave it to Oba. What does that tell you? Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Tag team match here against the Kabuki Warriors. This went 12 minutes. I still don't understand, after all that we got last night on night 2, why we couldn't get Io and Asuka on night 2. We got a Danhausen John Cena segment that went longer than both women's world championship matches combined. It's kind of ridiculous. Rhea Ripley got a big reaction, as she usually does. It's nice to see them teaming here. This, in fact, would be the last time for a little bit we see them teaming. They are set to go their separate ways. Asuka distracted the referee here so Kyrie could attack Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley ends up knocking Kyrie off the apron without any problem whatsoever. Asuka continues to use the distraction to kick Ripley and knock her out of the ring. Sane followed by going to the top rope and delivered a beautiful insane elbow to Rhea Ripley on the outside ahead of a commercial break right in front of the commentary team. Excellent spot. So we go to commercial break. We come back from the break. Rhea Ripley is trying to make a tag to Io Sky. Io eventually makes the hot tag. She's in there with Asuka and she throws these terrible, and I mean terrible looking palm strikes, these uppercut palm strikes. I don't know what they are and when she started incorporating these things into her offensive moveset, but these things look terrible. I would hope that she removes that and just does something completely different. So she hits Asuka with these strikes, eventually goes up top and takes both Kabuki Warriors out with a double missile dropkick. She does her pose and her taunt in the middle of the ring. Running meteors to both Kyrie and Asuka, pillar to post. Ripley comes on in, gets a tag, gives Asuka the razor's edge. Io follow with a missile dropkick on Asuka. She goes for a cover, does Rhea Ripley, and she gets a 2 count. Kyrie, he gets out. Siobhan Evans walked up to Penta and congratulated him and says, "You were the better man last night. You did your thing." Then the music plays. And everybody sings Cult of Personality. He makes it to the ring. He looked very down. He looked a little sad. Did see him.
Leaving meetings with more questions than answers?
Sad. But he found out during a tour of Japan last fall that his friend and MMA trainer Duke Rufus didn't wake up that morning. the next month, his beloved Larry crossed the Rainbow Bridge. He said it seemed every few weeks people in the WWE family passed away. He mentioned several names. Names that were on his jacket last night. Jim Shank, amongst others. He mentioned several names and touted those who make this place a well-oiled machine. He said they are the real heroes. He says he wanted to show them respect, which is why he wore them on his jacket last night. He said the WWE title that he lost last night doesn't sting as much as that he stayed ready. He said he poured his heart and soul into WWE to entertain the fans because he stayed ready. An opportunity arose after Seth Rollins got hurt. If he hadn't stayed ready, they'd be eating and talking to Jey Uso right now instead of him. People booed. I don't think they booed Jey Uso. I think they booed the thought of Jey Uso being the World Heavyweight Champion. Because let's be honest, I don't think anybody wants to see Jey Uso as the World Heavyweight Champion over a CM Punk. He then told the booing fans that he likes to eat, and they should like Jey, so get with the program. CM Punk says he has a pep in his step because he's what CM Punk means. There's two things that could happen. If WWE is scheduled to have a King of the Ring, CM Punk could win King of the Ring and challenge Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. To do that, he'd have to move over to Friday Night SmackDown. And I genuinely think, this is just me thinking out loud, with WWE moving who they moved over to Monday Night Raw tonight, I don't think that there is a need for CM Punk on Monday Night Raw anymore. He's done everything. He's feuded with Gunther. He's feuded with LA Knight. He's feuded with Jey Uso. He's feuded with Rollins. Feud with Braun Breaker doesn't work right now because CM Punk and Braun Breaker have nothing to do with each other. He's lost to Roman. CM Punk moving over to Friday Night SmackDown would be the wise move. SmackDown could certainly use CM Punk. Netflix got who they want in Roman Reigns. And WWE clearly made a lot of moves to make Monday Night Raw stronger. What is SmackDown getting? Jacob Fatu moved over to Monday Night Raw because he's challenging Roman Reigns in Backlash, or at least wants to. It certainly looks like it certainly feels like it, that CM Punk may be moving over to SmackDown. If CM Punk enters the King of the Ring, he wins King of the Ring. He challenges Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam. That could be a possibility. Does WWE run to that match already, or do they save it for WrestleMania? I don't know. The other thing that I was thinking about is the whole, you never know when a championship opportunity is going to fall out of the sky. SummerSlam takes place, I believe, August 1st and August 2nd in Minneapolis. Money in the Bank takes place in New Orleans. That's at the end of August. Was CM Punk alluding to possibly winning Money in the Bank? Because you never know when an opportunity for the World Heavyweight Championship is just going to fall out of the sky. That seems like it's a little too far away to predict. I don't know why he would be having his eyes set on winning Money in the Bank. I'm sure there will be other opportunities that arise before then. But it looks like WWE is now finally in the mindset to start building to Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. That is the biggest match that WWE has on tap, in my honest opinion. The biggest match that they have on tap currently that they could possibly give us. Now, Cody Rhodes would have to be the WWE Champion for this to happen. clearly after WrestleMania Night 1, the direction is going to continue being Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. They didn't end Saturday night with the punt kick and a black eye and Randy standing tall to not do that match at Backlash. I don't know what is going to happen if they continue that feud. You would think that Randy Orton wins number 15. Up until a couple weeks before WrestleMania, the plan was for Randy to win number 15. I said this on Saturday night. I don't think WWE wanted Cody Rhodes losing back-to-back WrestleManias in Las Vegas with celebrity involvement. So they changed their mind and gave Cody Rhodes the win and made absolutely no sense of anything Pat McAfee related. They opted to maybe keep the title on Cody, go into Backlash, and win at WrestleMania, only to drop it in Tampa at Backlash. Then CM Punk could go on and do what he's got to do. Moves over to Friday night. Couple of fresh opponents. And we get CM Punk on Friday night to freshen things up. But CM Punk said that line twice. You never know when a championship opportunity is just going to fall out of the sky. We'll see what happens. I like this promo. Cody looks beat up. Supposedly he's not medically cleared. Hopefully he will be before Backlash. Ethan Page.
Do not listen to that.
I might will end the video pretty soon. I think I made this long enough.
Talking about the World Heavyweight Championship. And Jacob says, I don't want that title. I need that title. And Roman has this just annoyed look on his face. Jacob says, he's not out here to be tribal chief, but he needs everything that the tribal chief has. He needs the shoe deal. He needs the private jets. He needs that Rolex. He needs more vehicles. He needs a bigger house. He has to put his kids into better schools. And he'll do anything for his family, even if he has to go through Roman. Because in Backlash, he's leveling up his household. And Roman is going to know that Jacob Fatu is all gas and no brakes. And there are chants of Fatu from the crowd. So Roman says, I agree with you. I want all those things for you too. Maybe you can beat me. But if you can beat me, can you handle the burden of this title? Says, but on the other side, if you can't beat me, can you handle the burden of having to acknowledge me? Says, understand this. I think the air up there, right, this rarefied air that he's in, this is the top of the mountain. So he's going to give him the rest of the week to think about it. He's not saying yes, he's not saying no, but he's not sure that Jacob is ready. So he'll see Jacob next week on Raw. Little cousin. And on that note, after calling him little cousin, they left the ring, and that is how they went off the air. First of all, getting Jacob on Raw is a dub. As far as I'm concerned, I'm a big Jacob Fatu guy. He did a lot in recent months outside of the little break he took. On SmackDown, he feuded with a few different people. And now it feels like, okay, some of his family, his cousins now are on this show. He has not been on Raw officially. He'll have new faces to work with. And he can be at or near the top of the card. This is a good spot for him to be in. They've largely kept him and Roman apart, for the most part, since Jacob got signed. And so now the idea that not only are we going to get a match between them, but this is probably going to be the main event. I'm assuming Cody will not even be defending his title at Backlash. This is very likely going to be the main event of Backlash on May 9th. So they're going to have the chance to go out there and they're going to get good time. Because look, if anybody's not going to be shortchanged, it's going to be Roman Reigns. They're going to have plenty of time to go out there and have a great match. And I'm very much looking forward to it. The question is, how does it end? Where do you go at the end of that match? Are we looking at a one and done? Are we looking at a situation where at the end of all of this, Jacob acknowledges him because he's part of the family, he's part of the bloodline, he falls in line. Roman has Jacob, he's he's got Jimmy, he's got Jay. It's the bloodline all over again. Only instead of Solo Sikoa, we have Jacob Fatu. That doesn't really appeal to me. Even the idea of like Jacob Fatu being part of a group that it's almost like he's back to the whole dynamic with him and Solo Sikoa where he's got his hands together like, I love you, Solo. Like, we don't need to go back to that version of Jacob. If anything, Jacob should be a leader of his own crew. And maybe that could be a possibility, right? Maybe at the end of all this, the Usos, they're not so dumb. They see what's going on here. Maybe they end up aligning with Jacob Fatu. There's different ways you can go with it, but it's still the bloodline. So I like Jacob being included. If he wasn't included, it would be very hard for me to really get excited about this. But, him being a part of this, to me, it offers just enough of a different element that I'm curious to see where it goes. The thing that I'm happy about is that we are going to get to see Roman more often. I don't know how often he'll be wrestling, because not like I'm expecting him to be working matches on Raw 2 or 3 times a month. But just having him on the show, having him present, having him in segments on the show, instead of having an absentee world champion, which, if that was going to be the case, that the worst decision they could have made was to put a world title back on him. But now that he has said he'll be here through the summer, we'll get to see him work with a few different people. Maybe he drops the belt to Gunther at SummerSlam. Maybe he drops the belt to Oba at SummerSlam. Those are 2 big matches that you can build to. Those are 2 big matches that I'm excited thinking about. Especially Roman and Oba would be, to me anyway, more interesting than Roman and Gunther would be. But Roman and Gunther would be a fresh match too. I mean, we saw them at the end of the Royal Rumble this year for a few minutes, but they've never wrestled before, right, to my knowledge. So the biggest takeaway for me from Raw tonight is that they tried to put a fresh coat of paint on things where a week ago, CM Punk really was the top star on Monday Night Raw. And now it is very clear Roman Reigns is the top star on Monday Night Raw, and he's going to be around. And now you've moved Jacob Fatu over to Monday Night Raw, seemingly. CM Punk, it looks like he may be headed for Fridays. We know Rhea is. There's a realignment going on, which is good. I think coming out of WrestleMania, you should have something of a realignment with some of these shows. But there are certain names from NXT who are overdue for a call-up. Ricky Saints, I think you can move him over to Friday nights. Blake Monroe should already be on Friday nights. JC Jane is the one who I'm pretty confident she's going to be on television very soon on probably Fridays. So we'll see what other names. Joe Hendry, I mentioned him. Ethan Page is here. I like these moves. It's a welcome change. It just freshens things up a little bit. You can't just run with the same players and the same feuds and the same matches over and over and over again and keep things fresh and interesting. You just can't do that. So that was my big takeaway from this show. It wasn't like we had a lot of banger matches tonight or anything, but they have set the table now for what will hopefully be an interesting spring here on Raw. Because WrestleMania is over. All the hoopla, all the excitement around WrestleMania, it's over. And the hardest part of the year is really 2 things. You have this post-Mania hangover where WrestleMania is over and you have to, now you're in rematch mode, but you also have to start some new stories with some new people. And like May and June, those aren't like the biggest times a year. And then you also have the fall, but I think of that holiday period, post-War Games, where it's like a dead zone, typically. Which is why John Cena wanted to have his retirement match in December. Like, nothing is going on in December. Why don't we have my retirement match in December? So, this is one of those times a year where you've got to try something different, and try to create an element of excitement around these shows where it can feel very different, this time of year. So I enjoyed the show for the most part. No Twitter poll to show because for whatever reason, I can't log in anymore with an OBS. And so the Twitter poll is up. If you would like to vote, I just can't show them anymore. But I will tell you that the poll is currently sitting at 81% thumbs up and 18% thumbs down for tonight's show, so it seems like most people enjoyed Monday Night Raw tonight, which is good.
Well, I'm gonna end the video. Until next time, hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. I'll be back with more. I'll be back with Friday. I will upload more videos on Call of Duty Black Ops 7, and I will upload more videos on NBA 2K26 My Career.